Hi, good evening. We've got the disco lights tonight. I thought I'd do something different and try and keep doing something different. We'll just see how it goes, whether we run out of ideas or not. Whether, we go through the 140 combinations of those lights before we get bored with doing that. I don't think he's too happy. We're talking about the South Korean leader tonight has just evoked the National Guard out. Apparently he waited till about 10:30 on the night and then decided he'd make an announcement on the media over there, telling people that he was going to introduce martial law. And I guess from what I can gather so far, it's because he doesn't like the fact that he's not very popular at the moment and people want to get rid of him, even in his own government. So he's called the National Guard into the government buildings there and will arrest anybody that is trying to oppose anything he says that he doesn't like. It's not right, is it? But we've got a lot of problems in this world, and we was talking on the topic yesterday of that orb that landed in Manchester. And getting back on that topic, I think you're living under a rock if you think that there are not other beings from other worlds visiting our planet. Maybe not directly having contact in open public where it can be widely viewed is not the case. It clearly isn't, and I think there's a good reason for that. I mean, they must look at us as an underdeveloped world, a world that is separated continent from other continents by an ocean, and they must think on the simplistic terms of this. If you can't get on with the people on your own planet just because you're separated by a teeny ocean of about a few thousand miles, and you can't all see eye to eye and work together on this planet, then what hope of us introducing ourselves to this planet would that benefit? Because you've just got to upscale it. You hear the talk of the macro and the micro. Well, the micro is those oceans that separate our continents on this planet, but the macro would be the ocean of space that separates our planet from other intelligent species living on other planets, which I know some people say are light years away. But what you have to imagine is, or think about, along the terms of how far have we come in just the last 100 years of technology. Think about what we've achieved. Now, can you imagine a civilization that has been out there, that has had technology in the same sort of sense, the ignition point of our 100 years ago, their ignition point was probably 10,000 years ago. So you can imagine the level of technology that they would have had. And I suppose that there is a community of beings out there that communicate with each other from planet to other planets, and different species, work together. And I suppose at first it wasn't all well and good, but I suppose that they've reached a certain level of understanding that, it's better to work with each other than it is to war with each other. And I'm not saying that there are not probably species out there that see it's better to war with each other than it is at war with each other and consume other people's or other planets' resources for themselves. Because if those people weren't at a certain level to protect them resources, then there was certainly a target to have them taken off them. There will always be in this universe the dark side and the light side. And what we really need to be doing right now in this world is working together, not warring against each other. Nothing will ever come of war other than a waste of resources. If we look at how much our military complexes spend on development for killing, the purpose of killing and conquering and ruling other people, could you just imagine if they'd have spent that on, infrastructure in our own countries? For instance, the Elizabeth class aircraft carriers that we own 2 of, and they break down like nobody's business. Apparently that is the business of aircraft carriers. They are constant work in progress. They will never be perfect, and they're suffering from lots of problems. We can't put the 2 at the same time, I don't believe, at sea together, and we're lucky if we can put one of them at sea. But then the Russians have, I believe, 1 aircraft carrier which they give up completely on it. The last time I think it capsized in the docks, and it's caught fire, and they've taken it out to sea when it's been working, and it's broke down repeatedly and had to be towed back. It's just a dead loss. So that is in some respects the business of aircraft carriers for countries that are trying to develop a good one. I always said it would have been better for the Brits to purchase a Nimitz class aircraft carrier off the United States. First of all, it's nuclear, and that gives them a good ability to travel where they want pretty much for a prolonged period of time, as opposed to what we've got, the nasty diesel engines running the aircraft carriers, where the Chinese know as soon as we start them up in Portsmouth, they are like, wow, I've got to turn the volume down on my headset because the clanking is going on, and the Brits have just started up their aircraft carriers. And it's I'll just say this, I'm not impressed. I'm English and I'm not impressed with what we've got. We've got 2 lousy aircraft carriers with 2 control towers on each of them. I'm bewildered what that's all about. Is one for the controlling of the ship and the navigation of it, and the other one is for the air traffic control? I don't know. Why did we put 2 turrets? The Americans just have 1 and it controls the lot. Why have we got 2? But what I like about the American nuclear aircraft carriers is that if you park that nuclear aircraft carrier off the coastline of your enemy and they decide to sink it, they punch themselves in the nose, because then they've got a biological hazard on their hands that they've got to deal with. And if the British park their aircraft carriers off the coastline and they sink it, well then apart from the crude oil that it's running on, that's the biggest problem, really. So getting back to extraterrestrials, beings from other planets, I was watching Elon Musk make a podcast, and he said, I've got thousands of satellites, I've never had to redirect them around a UFO before, or a spacecraft unidentified to ourselves. And I was thinking, well, how can you make such a statement when you build cars that are able to drive themselves, and those cars know not to collide into other cars and other pedestrians and other vehicles and bicycles and whatever, and you think that a race of people that come from maybe a light year away, don't have that same sort of technology, collision technology that you're talking about. I just thought it was ridiculous that he thought, because he had all these satellites going around this earth, that at some point one of these UFOs would align themselves in the path of the satellite, and Elon Musk would have to divert the course of that satellite so it avoided that ship. It's crazy, isn't it? Right? And this is supposed to be a very intelligent man. And I think as well as I do, we've never seen him put his hands to work. We've never seen him build anything himself. It's just what he's talked about. Is he a programmer? Is he capable of programming? I don't know. because I've never seen him do it. I've heard him talk a lot about it. I've seen him do his little dances on the production line of Tesla. You know, I know he had a few problems, but was he delegating those problems? That's the thing. And the other thing I don't like about him is that he was a big supporter of Henderson as opposed to Tesla. You see, I like Tesla myself because he was the guy that came up with the ideas, and Henderson was just the guy that could bring it to market. And that is apparently why Elon Musk likes Henderson as opposed to Tesla, because Henderson could bring it to market, Tesla couldn't. But, you know, we're experts in our own fields. You know, at the end of the day, Tesla did win Henderson with alternating current over direct current. And, you know, when you look at that story, it's quite funny, because Henderson said, let's see which electricity kills an animal better than the other, you know. So Henderson suggested, like, I don't know if they did the experiment or not, but he said, let's give direct current to the horse and see if we can kill it quick, as opposed to how long it will take for the alternating current to kill the horse with Tesla's alternating current. And I just thought, what a stupid way of demonstrating technology is. You know, was it like that in them days? Hot dogging. It's just crazy, isn't it? Let's see which one kills the horse quicker. It's funny. Oh my God. We live in an insane world, and I don't think, you know, our governments, because they classify everything. They classify all these sightings of UFOs. You know, they've made it not a common thing to do if you're a pilot working for a very, you know, branded airline company, to talk about your sightings, but you will have seen them, because there are a lot of sightings that are seen by pilots, but they fail to put their name to them because they fear they're going to lose the job. And that's the same in the military for a lot of these cases. So your governments don't really want you to know that they exist, but to deny their existence would be foolish. I mean, what you really think? You really think that out of the expanse of the whole universe, there isn't somebody talking on a camera like this somewhere else, billions of light years away? There are many, many intelligent life species. You know, this problem with human beings, we're very close-minded, is a way of putting it, to accepting the fact that there are others out there. You know, we'd like to think that we are special, we're the only ones, you know, and it's not the case. Well, what we've got to do, I think, this is my personal opinion, give me your opinion in the comments you know, down below. My opinion is that we've got a lot of work cut out for ourselves. We've got to first of all learn not to war with each other on this planet and work with each other. And that might be sending a good signal out there to other worlds, saying that, you know, that they can work together, and they have been for a prolonged period of time now. They're getting on to be slightly technologically advanced. Maybe it would be a good time now to introduce ourselves officially. And you know what that could do? That could open up a whole new era of technology. But not only that, we could also learn a very big lesson in the curvature of learning, which takes, you know, a long time. And let's face it, we've been fighting for thousands of years each other on this planet, and maybe it's a good time now to just say enough's enough. You know, work out our problems together in some way or form at the table for a negotiation, maybe even using diplomacy of some sorts, and you know, that's probably the stepping stone to the next level for us. You know, we could learn how they, you know, probably went through the same things, the birthing problems that we have right now, you know, with currencies, and, you know, one country wants to have the better currency than the other, and one values their currency more than the other. But you know, labour is just a human being at the end of the day doing an hourly work for an hourly wage. So you know, maybe if we didn't judge others differently, everybody would have that hourly wage globally. I don't know, just putting these ideas out there. But it does make me laugh when Elon Musk come out with such things like, oh, well then, you know, we've never had to divert our satellites around these objects, so they can't exist. I think a few of us out there with open minds know a little bit more. Some of us have actually been privileged to come up close to these things and had the benefit of seeing them whilst being in the company of another human being, so they got to see it as well. That's a good thing. Anyway guys, strange times that we live in. It really is. It's not getting any more normal, is it? It's just getting more weird. And if there's something that you want to talk about, science related or just anything related, let me know in the comments section, and we might pick it up on the next video that we do. That's what we usually do. Look after your loved ones. Take care. Bye for now.